Hello, welcome back to Bill's Workbench. I have got the laptop here on the bench today because we are going to be drawing in the rear body mount for the Tonka Jeep conversion. And I've drawn a couple of them because I'm trying out this new software called Alibre, Atom 3D, and I was able to get these things drawn in not quite as fast as I do in AutoCAD because I'm learning the software, but quick enough where I think I can continue learning it and get the most out of my 30-day trial. What I want to show you in this video is how I went from measuring this to building out two different prototypes, and the second one, point 2, actually fits in there, and I can screw it up. See, I see through the holes there. So yeah, pretty excited. Jump to the laptop and get started learning Alibre. All right, here we are on my Windows box. I've remote desktoped into it because my recording software is on my Mac. So on the Windows box, I have the Alibre software installed. This is the Atom 3D version 27. And yeah, we will give it a shot. Well, I've been giving it a shot for a while. So the first step is we want to create a new part. Once we create all our parts, then we can put those parts into a finished design, and then we can export it, do whatever we want. So let's go ahead and create a new part, and up comes the new part window. One of the things that I needed to learn or get over my fear of is the X and Y and Z are different here than they are in AutoCAD and all the other softwares that I am used to drawing in. To me, the XY plane should be this plane. It should be the plane on top, but it is not. So what I'm doing is I am forgetting X, Y, and Z and not worrying about it. I'm just going to draw it in. If I need to rotate it afterwards to get it right in Cura, then by golly, I'll just rotate it and be done with it. So the first thing we want to do is draw in the section of the part. And here are the dimensions that I am working from. So we'll activate sketch, and we'll sketch on this plane, and we'll zoom in, and it says the Z is going the other way. Do I really care? No, I don't really care. I'm just going to draw it up right over in this area. So I'm going to draw in a construction line, and the construction line will live right about, I don't know, about there. So we'll have another construction line about right here, and it's going to be like 50 ought to do it. We'll zoom out a bit. I'm still in select. I'll select this and move it over to about the middle. Good enough. All right, now I'm ready to get started. I'm going to take my middle here and I am going to lock it in place so it doesn't move on me. I am going to now draw half of the section. The reason I'm drawing half of the section is because once I started doing the parameters and modifying this thing, I found that by drawing half of it, it scaled it properly. So I'm going to draw half of it, this part, and then I'm going to mirror it and mirror it down, and then I'll mirror it over. So that's the plan. So we'll draw a line. I'm going to start my line about right there. We're going to go up a half, so that's 3. We're going to go over 1.5. We're going to come down 1. We're going to go over 2. We're going to come down to there. And then I will hit escape to get out of the line. So there are all my lines. Now I'm going to go back to select and select them all. And I'm going to mirror along this axis right here. I'll say, okay, that's what I want. So now I have a mirror of this. Now when you mirror things inside of Alibre, if ever I change this part up here, it changes this part down here automatically. So I will select all of these and mirror it again along my center right there, and I'll say OK. So now what I want to do is I want to figure out the distance that I want this to be mirrored, and it's 37 millimeters from this point to that point. So half of that, so I'm going to do 37 divided by 2 is 18.5. So I want a distance from there to there of 8. Well, no, not from there to there. From there to there of 18.5. Look at that. And now if I do another dimension from here to here, just to double check my math, I can see I'm at 37 millimeters, which is the distance I am looking for. So there it is. That is the first part of the part. I'm going to deactivate the sketch. There is my deactivated sketch. I am now going to extrude that. So I am going to extrude this sketch, and I'm going to extrude it. How far am I going to extrude it? 11 millimeters is the distance I want inside of that frame. So there is my 11 millimeter extrusion. Let's rename this to inside. Or let's do frame connection. Good enough. There's my frame connection. Now I want to put my holes in right there. So I'm going to activate a sketch on that axis, and I'm going to put in a circle right about there, which is 2 millimeters. And I want to copy that circle. So I'm going to go back to select. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to do a Control C, Control V. There's the other circle. Whoa. Undo. I got that circle, and I'm going to move it down here. So now we need to get these in the right spot. So we're going to draw in a construction line in the middle here. And I want to constrain this thing so that it's in the middle between those. It needs to be like 3.5. Okay, then I want to do middle constraint from here to here. Okay, so now if I draw in another line from there down, good. I want a dimension from here to here. No, a dimension from here to here of 5 millimeters. There we go. And now I want to constrain this to the end of there. What if I just move you? Move you to there. I want you, though, to be constrained. When I do a dimension from here to here to there, say you're a parameter, and then a dimension from here to here to here, and say you are, oh, there it is, driven, this one. There we go. There, so now hopefully that'll be right. We're going to find out when we have to flex this and see if it works. All right, so there are all of my holes. I will deactivate the sketch. I will now do this extrusion, and we want to go about -50, and that puts a hole through both. And now we are ready to put a box in the bottom. So we will activate another sketch, and we'll put it on this plane. And I want to, let's see, I did a project to sketch before. Create reference figure. Entities to project. I want to project this, of this, of this, and of this. I say OK. And then I will draw in a rectangle from that corner to this corner, and we will say deactivate sketch. And then we will extrude you, and you're going to be -10. Yeah, there it is. So as I look at this thing, I have the longer spot, which is correct, the longer distance here on the outside, the shorter distance on the inside. So there we go. I have drawn in the piece that I want to print. So now we're going to STL. We're going to export this to STL. Go to File, Export, and I want to export an STL object, and I want to put it on the Z drive, and it's in the transfer folder, and I'm going to call this Tonka rear frame bracket 0.1 as my first version, and I will hit save. And I'll say OK, because I really don't have any curves or anything. So now we're ready to print this to the printer. To do that, I go to Cura. All right, so here is Cura. Here is the part. We will drag the part onto the bed. It's part out of the way. And there it is. All right, as far as settings go, the first thing you set is your material, or your printer, really. I only have the one, so I never have to set it again. But you set your material first. Then you go and set all your settings. I like to go and show custom. I use low quality because I don't need high quality for this. The wall thicknesses of 2 are fine for this part because I'm just doing it to check it. 3 is good for the bottom layers. The fill density is 15%. That's good enough for this as well. When I do this for real, I will probably up the wall count to 3 or 4, and then probably 3 because it's such a small part. And I will change the fill density to probably 20%. The printing temperature, this is up to your filament. I am printing PLA plus, so it's 220 degrees Celsius. That is fine. The speed is fine. The supports, I want to do supports to the things that are touching the base, because if we look at our part, you can see I have some overhangs there, and they won't print well. So I have to go ahead and tell it to do the supports. So I'll go ahead and say slice. I'll preview it, and as we preview it, you see it drew some supports there. There's all the parts, and I'll go ahead and say print with Octoprint, and then it will print this thing out. So there we go. Now it's going to print it. So I have printed the part, and it is a little bit too large. And it's only large from here to here. So we're going to fix that. Now, when I change this distance from here to here, from 4 millimeters to 3.5, I want to make sure that my circles are still centered. So I have an extrusion here. These are the holes. I forgot to rename it, so let's do that now. For frame connection. So, and then I will rename this. This is the connection to body. All right, so I want to go to this sketch, the frame connection sketch. Yes, that sketch there, and I want to activate the sketch. Activate that sketch, and I want to change this distance. So let's give that a shot. Let's go ahead and do a dimension from there to there over to there,
And right now it says it's 2 millimeters. So we'll say OK. And I want to make that, I want to get rid of this dimension because that's, I can actually just change this dimension to be 1.5. And that changed it. It shrunk the whole thing. So that's not good. We'll undo that. I want to make it so that this and that is the same. Oh, I can lock them. So let's lock that. All right, let's try that now. And we will go to select, and I want to go to that, and I want to say 1.5. And look at that, it shrunk it the way I wanted it to. I locked that piece so it wouldn't change. That seems to be good to me. There we go. And now this little nugget of goodness here, that is where it stops, and that's where it stops calculating or stops the drawing. So there we go. We have now that at 3.5, and the holes look still centered, and I can do a distance, top, and zoom in. Let's do a distance. We'll inspect. I'll do a measure from that dot to that dot, and that should be 3 millimeters. Do I want it 3? No, I want it 3.5. So I went down 0.5. That's wrong. I need to fix this again. So that's why we check. So I'll activate that sketch, and I will edit sketch 1. And I want to say I want this dimension to be 1.25. And I will deactivate. That looks good. We'll grab this down here like that. Move this to there. Make sure those look centered still. They do. Let's measure again. From there to there. 3.5. Perfect! Now the part is fixed. This is the beauty of parametric modeling. I can go and change things I did in the past. I can't do that in AutoCAD. That's why I'm looking at software like this. So now I'll export. I will export the STL file, and we will export the .2 version of this. And we'll say OK. And then we'll bring up Cura. We'll go back to prepare. I want to get rid of this thing. I want to go to my bracket number 2 and put that in like that. So there's my 0.2 bracket. I'm ready to slice. So we'll say slice, and then I'll print that with Octoprint. I'll wait for it to do its thing, and we'll take it over the bench and give it a try.
Here we are back on the bench. I have my 0.1 model and my 0.2 model. It's a good idea to use your handy dandy Sharpie to mark those so you know which one's which when you come back to this 3 days later. So my 0.1 didn't quite fit. So as we try to look at this and I try to get this in here, it doesn't quite go in there. That piece is just a tad too large. But my 0.2 fits in there just nicely. See that? Slides right in. And the holes line up and everything is good. So I have a nice part ready to go. So now what's cool about Alibre as opposed to AutoCAD is, or Tinkercad for that matter as well. I mean, Tinkercad has the same problems that AutoCAD would have. You can't modify this afterwards. I can modify it in Fusion, but I don't want to pay Autodesk that money for Fusion. So we're going to pay Alibre their money for their software. Is as I start measuring this and I put this piece onto here, if I need more space in the back to make it work for the archway there, the wheel arch, all I have to do is go back in and modify that extrusion to the distance I need, and I'm good to go. Then I can also add in the holes in the back afterwards too, and then just reprint this part. This makes it so much easier. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, but you know, it is what it is. So there you go. I hope you liked this. I hope you learned something. I have learned a few things about Alibre. I'm going to give it a try. I've got 28 more days or 27 more days of the 28 more days of the trial left. It took me about 3 hours of watching the videos and playing with it to figure out how to draw that thing with the experience I have with AutoCAD and other CAD softwares. Your mileage may vary. If you like this kind of content and you're interested in learning this software with me, let me know in the comments down below. I really would like to know your thoughts on this kind of content. I think this content is quite valuable. It's valuable for me, as in I'm learning the software and learning how to do more YouTube videos, and I think it might be valuable to you as you might learn the software as well. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.